Divine greetings and gratitude, tribe. Welcome back to our sacred space. Of course, I'm always honored, excited, and elated to be in your presence. Let's go ahead and get into some messages today. I don't know exactly what we have coming through or what you have coming through, but we're going to allow ourselves to open up to receive what is for us. And we are going to keep our hearts open, our minds full of discernment, and our spirits strong. That way we can receive the messages that is meant for us. Well, actually, that is meant for you. So thank you so much for coming back onto this channel. We're going to be working with the Light Seers Tarot. And yes, I don't know exactly what's going to come through, but I feel like I kind of want to talk to you before we proceed forward. The word that I just heard, or the words that I just heard actually, was rite of passage. And a rite of passage normally indicates that there is a transition that is happening in someone's life where they're gaining wisdom or they're entering into a new stage of life that requires a more advanced version of them. And rite of passages are sacred, 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 and they are necessary points or necessary rituals that are done in order to help the soul to transition into another stage of life, of course. I feel like the reason why the divine is bringing up the words rite of passage is because there's something in your life that is happening at the moment, and it requires you to show up fully, authentically, and deeply rooted into your wisdom and your power. And I feel like what I'm hearing is that I'm being called to go way, way, way back to the earliest parts of your life that you can possibly remember. And I feel like the reason why the divine is wanting me to go back that far is because what I'm hearing is that the journey for you started back when you were a child, back when you were a young child. And although it may feel like you only got started as an adult, I'm really gonna challenge you on that one, and I know that for some people they may give pushback, you may want to give pushback, and that's all right, but I'm gonna challenge you anyway. And I'm saying that because I feel like oftentimes you have people who are outrageously gifted at what they do, and they believe that it's because they developed the gift as an adult, or it just kind of came out of nowhere, when in actuality it was something that came through, or something that they experienced even as a young child. It's the very thing that you probably got in trouble for when you were younger, and it's the very thing that helped you get through childhood, if that makes sense. And I feel like the reason why the divine is leading us back to that point is because those moments that you experienced those things, right? You could have been a gifted dreamer, you could have been a gifted writer, you could have been a gifted clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, whatever the clairs are. Maybe you encompassed, or maybe you encapsulated all of those gifts. Maybe you were psychic at a very young age, or you were just you just had this inner knowing since you were a child. And what I'm hearing is that there's this rite of passage that you're getting ready to go through, and with this rite of passage that you're getting ready to go through, this is an indication that you are ready. Now, the thing is that I was going to give this reading to the Saiyonan circle, but I feel like the divine is really wanting me to give this to the collective. And the reason is because a lot of us are going through a transitionary point in our lives. And the reason is because, of course, we keep talking about this new earth, but it's deeper than just it being a new earth. This is where we are shifting the paradigm, and we are called to collectively look at ourselves, look at each other, look at our own lives, look at what is going on in our own personal life, and also be aware of what is happening outside of us as well. And those that are meant to show up as leaders are going to be the new shapers of the world, that's going to help to usher in the newer generations in order to help steward the earth after we are gone. And it's interesting because I feel like there is no such thing as an accident, and there is no such thing as a coincidence. And well, there's a such thing as an accident, meaning that maybe you did something on an accident. But what I mean is, from a universal perspective, from a cosmic perspective, there are no accidents, right? Everything is purposeful. Everything has a meaning as long as you apply that meaning to it. So the reason why I'm saying that is because now you're getting ready to step into a stage in your life where all the gifts that you've encompassed, that you've developed over the years, now you are really about to get started. And that's so interesting because you have judgment here, and judgment does indicate that there is some type of awakening that's happening usually. At the same time, I see this as remembrance. And y'all know that we've been talking about remembrance for a while. And y'all know that before remembrance became popular, I actually received it in a channel. And I actually remember writing it down in my red notebook. I feel like if I don't have a clip that I can find on my computer, I'll actually take a snapshot, or I'll take like a small recording and I'll put it on the screen here. But I remember hearing the word remembrance. And at first I was thinking, oh, well, maybe this is just because of, what happened during the time of, COVID and things like that. Maybe this is something that happened, or maybe this is coming through because it's something that happened in the past where we are remembering the things that happened within like the last 5 to 10 years or so. But no, this had everything to do with the fact that all of us, well, not just that, but all of us are on a path of remembrance. And with us being on this path of remembrance, we're called to go back to the very things that we were not brought up in per se, but that we experienced when we were younger, because those very same gifts, those very same ideas, those very same things are what's coming right back around. And I feel like this judgment card here is coming up as, what have you learned? Did you learn anything when you were younger? Did you learn anything by far? There were so many lessons that you had that have been resurfacing. And the reason why they're resurfacing is because it's time for you to really recollect your memories. Go into the Akashic records. I don't care what anybody tells you. Oh, there's only some people that have access to the Akashic records. I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to be brutally, bluntly honest with you. And I don't care how anybody feels about it. And I'm going to more than likely challenge things that are said, and I don't care because I'm known for doing things like that. Everybody has immediate access to the Akashic records. What makes people different is how far back they're able to go utilizing their specific gifts. That is it. That is all. Because the Akashic records is not an actual destination. The Akashic records is a space of memory. And what are memories? They are thoughts. These are things that have already happened. They are things that have already existed. And also all things that could possibly exist. Think about it. Akashic records, right? So as a matter of fact, let me pick up my phone. So the word Akasha translates to or means ether or atmosphere as one of the elements in Hindu philosophy. So apparently Akasha is a Sanskrit word that can be translated as ether. And with the root word kas, meaning to be visible, sky, atmosphere, or open space. Everybody has access to this open space. Everybody has access to this field of knowledge, of information. Again, it's really just about how far back people are able to go given their gifts. So these are gifts that you have developed over lifetimes that are now coming to a culmination point. And I believe truly deeply that when you go back as far as you can possibly go, whether it be the past life, meaning your current life when you were younger, because I know that some people don't believe in past lives. More than likely, if you're here, you more than likely believe in reincarnation and past lives and future lives and things like that. But either way it goes, this points to information that you're retrieving from these old lives. And I want you to remember that this is a point in time, again, where everything is coming into a culmination, and you are asking yourself, you're going deeper into the lessons and asking yourself, what do I remember? What has gone on in my life? What has happened? And where is this all leading me? And at the same time, I don't see you questioning where it's leading you. I just see you surrendering and allowing the process of remembrance to take place, allowing the process of remembrance to allow you to be shaped into what you are here to be. And I feel like this is something that you've had a sense of when you were younger, but you couldn't quite explain it. And I feel like you are someone that was just so gifted ever since you were younger. And it's difficult for you to understand because you were not someone that was trained to utilize your gifts. You trained yourself to utilize your gifts. You trained yourself to come to this point. And it could have been through trauma. It could have been through the experiences you had with a mother figure, right? Like, this is bringing me early life upbringing. Maybe you didn't have a strong relationship with your mom or your dad, or maybe you took care of yourself because people in your family didn't know what to do with you. They didn't know where to place you. They didn't know how to go about taking care of you properly. And so you had to learn on your own, right? This goes back to a video that I remember that I did. I'll link it down below, but I remember saying something along the lines of, you've been gifted ever since you were younger, or something like that. I'll make sure to link it. You can go watch the video after this one's done, if you want to, right? Of course, I don't want to encourage you to have too much screen time, but whenever you have the time and the energy, go ahead and listen to that. Maybe you can listen to it while you're washing your dishes. I don't know. But either way it goes, I feel like this is a gift that you've had since you were younger. And now again, you're coming up to this culmination point saying, what are my other gifts that I can implement? And how am I being called to use my gifts? Is it for my local community? Is it for my family? Is it for my extended family? Is it for the globe? Whatever it may be, you get to decide that. And I feel like the divine is telling you that you can decide whether or not you want this to be global, or whether you want this to be private, or whether you want this to simply be at a school, or even if it's, I just heard the word parking lot. It could be a parking lot. It doesn't even matter. You could be out in the back of your trunk, right? You know, people coming up to you, hey, what you got there? Oh, I'm pulling cars. Would you like for me to pull a car for you? And then that's how you go. It's like it's unorthodox, but it works. And it's one of those things where you get to decide what you do with this. And I feel like that is what judgment is letting you know. It's where you start to utilize the power of your intuition as well as your intellect in this thing. But at the same time, this is still very much a rite of passage, very much a rite of passage. And I really feel like I want you to trust in what the divine is wanting you to do. I feel like this is a stage in your life where things are about to become outrageously clear. It'll happen at the very moment, right, where an elder may say something to you. An elder may say something, or someone who's younger may say something, or a random stranger, which I don't believe they're random, but a random stranger may say something to you, and it may trigger something. It may jumpstart something. It may remind you of something. And the reason why is because that moment of resonance was a factor in getting you on your path of remembrance, or activating something within you so that you may continue to walk the path. And I believe truly, honestly, I can honestly say from my own experience that there were many moments in life where I just felt like I was learning too hard of a lesson, public embarrassment and things like that. But what I remember now, or what I'm understanding now, is that these are all things that happened, and I have the power to give purpose to these things and not allow these things to happen again, because I'm choosing to walk in a more empowered way. And I feel like you are choosing to walk in a more empowered way. And I feel like you probably have been feeling this sense of restlessness in your life, more than likely. And maybe you can't get sleep. Maybe you've been up a little bit longer. Maybe you've been up to like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m., not really being able to sleep or getting any good rest and things like that. And I feel that the reason why this may be happening here is because it's time for you to start to really get serious about not just get serious to the point to where you miss the joy and the love of life, but really take yourself seriously enough to where you can say, this is what I am deciding right now. And again, this rite of passage that I just keep hearing the divine say is that this is a transitionary point of where it's going to require you to embody all that you remember. And I know that this is something new that we've been saying here in this place, but we're going to coin this, and we are going to keep going with that because it makes so much sense. And I understand it more deeply. As above, so below, as within, so without, as remembered, so embodied. This is a space in your life where you are being called to embody what you remember. And this is essential for you right now on your path. Because if you decided that you didn't want to do this, you can always walk away. But you know in the back of your mind, in the pit of your guts, that if you walked away from this thing, your life will never be the same, and you will always feel empty. It will always be a longing, and you know that. And so judgment is showing up here to remind you, if you decided that you were going to do this, remember that you're going against the very thing that you set intention for yourself. Don't be afraid to continue on with this path. In fact, you're being invited to let these things go. You're being invited. You are being given an invitation here. This is an invitation into the next phase of your life. I feel like you're being told by your guides, by your ancestors, and it's so beautiful because whatever celebration that you are about to encounter on, because you will encounter a celebration or something, best believe that your ancestors, your guides will be present with you, and you will feel them, and you will feel them. You will feel a warmth. Maybe the way that your guides communicate with you is through a tingling sensation of, maybe it's your third eye, or maybe it's your crown region, or maybe I just heard tickle toes. That's so funny. Maybe you feel a tinkle or tingle in your toes. Maybe, I don't know what it is. You'll feel it. Maybe you'll feel a presence over your shoulders hugging you. Your guides are going to be there during the ceremony, or during whatever it is in your life that you have going on. For, it could be anything. I know that sometimes, like when I'm doing things or whatnot, I can feel my guides. Like I have my own way of knowing when they're there, but when your guides are there, and you are being invited to allow them into this space, because again, whatever this is in your life, you're called to really allow yourself to go. Also, I haven't even fully looked at the cards yet, but yes, you have the Eight of Swords in reverse here and the Four of Swords in reverse. This is letting me know that you don't have to move in fear anymore. And you never did, but we, meaning your guides, understand the reason why you felt the need to move in fear. It's because you weren't taught these things. It's because you were faced with trials and tribulations and things that you had to figure out on your own. And one thing that I'm also hearing, contrary to what people may believe, is that the trauma that you experienced, the greatest trauma that you possibly could experience, was also led to a rite of passage. It could be something as dramatic as you getting into, and I don't pray this over you at all. I pray for your safety at all times. It could have been an accident. It could have been a sickness. It could have been a fight. It could have been the loss of something. It could have been a bad breakup in a relationship that hurt you to your core, to where you couldn't even trust humans, right? Like it was difficult for you to be in your skin, right? Like it was difficult for you to look at yourself, because to look at yourself was to look at the other, and you couldn't look at the other, so you avoided your own reflection. Like it could be something as dramatic as that. And I feel like these moments, we have the power to transmute this into a testimony that can then be shown and given to the world as a gift. And I feel like the divine is letting you know that your trauma is not meant for you to just simply suffer. You have the choice to choose. You have the choice to take what you've learned through this traumatic experience, through this loving experience, and then give that as a gift to someone else on this next journey of your life. Because nothing is wasted. And the dark moon goddess lets you know that nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted ever. You have the Knight of Wands and you have Temperance. Exactly. You have the Knight of Wands and you have Temperance. This is letting me know, again, with this transmutational energy. Exactly. You saw me shuffling. Either way it goes, this is you have such a strong, and I'm hearing the word trance. It's something about trance. And it's bringing me to the idea of transcendence, but not in a way where you avoid life. It's more so where you face the things that you've gone through. And you are someone that has so much power, and you draw so much power. You are your own generator. You are a generator of energy, a generator of love, a generator of light. And I don't want you to forget that when you are moving into this next stage of your life. Remember who you are. You are remembering who you are, and you are being given permission. If it makes you feel better, you don't need permission, but you're being given permission to be all that you are without apology, because you are here to teach. You are here to guide. You are here to show people the way. That is why you are here, to show them the way, because everything that you are doing, again, is going to help this new world that we're building, so that when we pass, the ones who will steward the earth have learned from us. See, because more than likely, if you're someone that was, I don't want to call you a millennial, but millennial ages are coming through. Even if you're not a millennial, whatever. If you were born maybe like in the 80s and the 90s, Let's just say that. Maybe you were born beforehand. I'm not sure. But either way it goes, I feel like you're bridging the gap between these old worlds. And because you hold this knowledge between both worlds so well, you help people to meet in the middle. And that's exactly what makes you a pioneer. You help them, you help to bridge the gap. And that's exactly the reason why you are alive at this very moment. Your life has purpose. You are giving it purpose. And this is so interesting because it's calling me to talk low key, kind of talk about and I don't want to make this video too long. I think I'm going to make this, I'm just going to cut it here and maybe do an extended message, perhaps. We'll see. But either way it goes, though, I feel truly deeply like, I can't even remember what I was saying, but I feel deeply that this is a moment in your life where you are being called to show up, truly, to show up. Get ready for this space in your life. Get ready for this transitionary point. Get ready for this point where you start to show up and be all that you are, because again, you have the choice to continue to move forward despite what has happened. The worst has happened. The Five of Cups here is that it's coming up as you have nothing to lose because you truly don't own anything. You're just a temporary steward of this thing. And so when you keep that mindset, there's nothing that you can truly lose. There's nothing that you can truly lose. You are not succumbing to the loss, no matter how great it was. And I feel like with the Hermit here asking the question, the deeper, you're going to figure out the deeper reason why. Everything is going to make sense after this. Mark my words. When you allow yourself to open up to this rite of passage, everything will make sense. Everything will make sense. And I want you to remember to take your time on this journey. There is no rush. You are going to live a long time. You are going to live a long time. I don't know why the divine is telling me to tell you this, but you're going to live for a very long time. And you're going to be doing this work for the rest of your life. So get ready to receive the abundance that you are meant to receive as a result of this. And you are never going to go without. And I'm being called to tell you that the intentions that you set on receiving whatever it is that you needed to be self-sufficient, to be sustainable, is going to come from you stepping fully into this next phase of your life. When you do that, everything starts to fall into place. All the intentions that you set back in 2022, back in 2021, back in 2016, back in 2019, whatever it was, right? 1984, 1967. I don't care when you set the intention for it. It's going to come. And you stepping into this space in your life right now is getting you prepared to receive that abundance. Fully prepared. And I really do believe that for you. Deeply and truly. And look at this at the bottom of the deck. When you give this from your whole heart. You give this from your whole heart. You don't half-ass it. You don't half-ass it. There is no shame in you doing this with your heart. There is no shame in you saying, I love this. I love people. I love being in this space. I am love. And that's exactly the reason why you are going to be successful, no matter what, because this is your aura. The Ace of Cups is showing you your aura. Maybe you have a pink aura. Maybe your aura is blue. Maybe your aura is purple. Whatever it is, however you decide to exude love, that's what you will be known for. And this path requires that you walk deeply in love. You have so much compassion despite the depth that you've had to swim through. And you are not being left behind. If anything, you are leading the way. I feel like that's your reading. That is just simply your reading. I hope that you get everything that you need. I hope that you receive what you needed from this video. If you did not, consult your own guides. If you did not talk to your ancestors, talk to the divine, talk to the divine on your own. I'm not saying that this reading is all that you needed, but I'm hoping that it helped you receive something. And if you need anything from me, you know exactly where to find me. And if you don't, I will leave it down in the description box where you can find it. Okay. I have prepared a space for you behind the scenes. It is called the Saiyonan Circle. That is where I will pour into you in ways that I will not pour into the collective. Okay. That is a private circle that I'm building from the ground up, right? We have a few people there and I'm hoping to expand and grow and evolve. And yes, I'll talk more about that later. But anyways, I love you very much. Take care and I'll catch you in my next video.